Good day, everyone. Isn't it crazy how time flies? Just yesterday, when I came away from my country, I was 18 years old, young boy with a lot of dreams. And I don't know how time went by. I'm almost 30 now, with two kids. Of course, I've lived every one of those years, but it really doesn't feel like that. So at this point, I thought, like a wise man, wisdom comes with age. I should make videos and share some of my wisdom, if you would ever call that. So I'm asking you to subscribe to my channel, share my videos if you can. I think my content will be particularly useful for people of my age, people of similar background, immigrants in particular, people who work hard, who want to make in life, people who are starting or who have already started a family and are in the beginning stage of their life as a family. Yeah, but for today, as an introduction, let's talk about one important topic. So you always dreamt about moving abroad, making it and big in life, helping your family, changing your country, because that's how I'm sure a lot of my friends grew up. Quite a lot of us, we were able to go abroad, study abroad, sometimes study home, but then go abroad to work. But then the reality is different. It's not so easy. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Of course, you end up most likely in a better country, because most countries in the world are actually better than where I come from. That is the truth. But still, it doesn't mean that you become rich, or you immediately change your life, or you become a happier person just like that, because it's not so easy. It's a global reality at this point that life is generally harder for this generation. So baby boomers, early millennials had it easy, but for Gen Z plus late millennials like myself, it requires a lot more work, if you want to really change your life. I'm not saying people of my age are not getting rich, because there are some people who really make it very easily, but for others, getting higher in life, progressing across this social hierarchy, it is harder than ever before. General young people are poorer than their parents. Our parents, they got educated. For sure, every one of them finds a job, gets their first house, sometimes more houses, very easy raising family, and parents before them maybe even had it easier. But now look at us. Everybody's underpaid. Things are so much more expensive than they were before. Wages are now rising at the same rate, so life is generally harder. But on all of this, if you want to make it, especially as an immigrant, here are my 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many advices, but really practical. The first one: start earlier. Start as early as possible. Don't waste your time doing another master's degree or another PhD. That's what most immigrant people with educational background do. That doesn't bring you much money, being very honest, but it helps if you start your career working in some industry as early as possible. So if you live in a country where you can work and study at the same time, for example Poland, do that. The earlier the better, because it means that you will progress in seniority, and by the time you graduate, you could as well be a senior, some specialist, or even at a manager position. This way you raise your ranks, you also raise your annual income, and it gets easier to grow from that point onwards. If you're going to graduate, do masters or whatever, start from zero, there is no difference when it comes to how employers see you, whether you have a degree, diploma, or double masters or a PhD. It doesn't really matter, mostly. So start as early as possible. If of course you can study such formal degrees. You can study on your own, on your private computer, build some skills. That's absolutely welcome, but start working as early as possible. Advice number one. Number two, save as early as possible. Time is an important factor when it comes to building wealth. So I know it's not easy when you come from a poor country with so many poor people back home, people who know you, people who don't know you will still be asking for help. There are always problems. Sick people, people who live in the streets, people with sad stories who will be asking for help. It's also not easy to hide the fact that you are abroad. People figure out somehow somebody gets your contact information. So my point is, if you can hide yourself. Don't waste your money. Of course, you can be charitable, help others. That's absolutely fine. But save as much as you can. Invest your money. Invest in stocks and in properties, in shares. Invest in things that bring money back. Because giving away doesn't bring really back. I haven't seen myself, my money that I gave away coming back. I mean, it's not supposed to always come back. Of course, mental happiness and things like that count in life. But everything has a limit, I believe. So don't waste your money. People will still live back home even if you don't monthly, annually, or I don't know in what frequency, send them and feel like you have to support them for them to survive. No, it's not like that. Yeah, that's my point number two. Number three, if you can maximize your income. Straightforward, right? So for example, that may for some of you mean doing multiple jobs. Quite easily you can find a remote job. So if you have a remote job, you can find another remote job. So you can do 2 remote jobs at the same time. See, double income. This way your savings will grow. Yeah, don't change your lifestyle as much as your income changes. Try to stay humble, yeah, and save the rest of money. And this way you will build wealth. You will invest. That brings more money, more profit, and you will grow. You will grow. That was a word. Exponentially. That's advice number 3 if you want to make it big. Another one is don't waste your money on ideas. There will always be ideas. Your friends will have ideas. You will have ideas, crazy ideas, business ideas, this and that. Okay, and as somebody who lives abroad, who's likely to have money, people will expect you to fund those ideas. And if you end up funding so many of them, then you will not have much savings left. So don't put your money everywhere. Focus on one item. Yeah, and it's always better to have money at hand than so many ideas where your money just goes and money doesn't come back. Money, I keep saying money because it's more important than it should actually be. It is important. It's what defines how far you can go in life, really. How your family will do. We're talking about building generational wealth. So keep your money close to yourself. Don't invest in everybody's ideas, even on your own ideas. Just be skeptical. Focus on one item. Not everybody's business idea is going to bring millions to you. That's point number 4. Point number 5 would be I don't know, do all those 4 points properly. That's what I can say about making big as an immigrant if you live abroad. These 4 points were really, really important to me. I'm not saying I'm rich or anything like that, but it really changed my story, and I think it can change yours as well. Let me know what you think about these things. Bye bye.